Welcome to the show with the eternal Sith. Every visit banger, best believe he don't miss. Do me a favor, drop a sub and keep tuning in. If you like what you see, go and share with your friends.
What up, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We are here. We are live. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Right now, I have one of the special guests here right now. I'm waiting on the other co-host, Darth Hater 23. He will be on whenever that happens. But I do want to welcome the one, the only, What the Mickey. What's going on, girl?
Hey, how are you?
Chilling. How's everything?
Good. How about that episode last night?
Girl, I'm still recovering. Low key, I am recovering. I'm so tired. Like, I put the breakdown video. I'm like, yo, I need some sleep.
Yeah, I hear you. I was on such a high yesterday after watching that episode that I couldn't sleep. So yeah, it was great. It was amazing. Like, I don't even know where to start.
That is a fact. Well, we're gonna start somewhere. We're gonna start somewhere, but for sure, I'm not gonna lie. This intro is fire. Literally, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Let's go for sure. I love my intro. That is my guy, Nazir. Nas is his name. He is a New York rapper. He does good stuff. He's actually working on another song for Talking Sith for me and Darth Hater 23. So
That's awesome.
Yes. Thought about that in bed trying to sleep. Yeah, no, there's a lot to get into today for sure. But how you been though? I know you are a lot on Instagram. You're doing a lot of stuff. What's going on with you? Any cool new gadgets that you've gotten before we do get into Ahsoka episode 5?
Wow. Was able to do a collaboration with Legoland.
Ooh, okay.
It was pretty great. Had a great time. They hosted us, and it was a nice experience for the family. And we went to their water park, which is brand new.
Okay.
Just been running around all over the place. There's a lot of Disney news lately, so been, up in Disney. Just went to the 25th anniversary Disney sailing, got to experience that.
Wow, that is just like you got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah, keeping busy.
That's the way to go, girl. Like, honestly, like that's the only way to go, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah.
I mean, how much more can you not do, or can you do? I guess you could say wording, right? But you're keeping yourself busy, and that's what matters, and that's what it's about at the end of the day.
Yeah, so enjoying every moment, and of course, all the Star Wars news, which is amazing.
Of course. That's what's important, is that we hear.
Yeah.
What is it? C.E. Rodri says, speaking of gadgets, do y'all have holograms like the ones on Amazon? They're like spinning LEDs. No, I don't. I actually did not know about that. That is news to me.
Yeah, I need to know about this. What is this?
Yeah, I mean, if it's like Star Wars-esque, I mean, why not, right? If I can call somebody and be a hologram, why not, right?
We were just talking about this yesterday. Why don't we have holograms yet? So thank you for that.
I feel like it exists. It's just like the United States is like really like late to the game. We're always late to the party. Like, even like it's not that we're late. It's just the army will have it first. They'll have fun with the gadgets, and then it's like we get it, and then it's like very last second. I don't know why. It's like GPS has been around for years, and we just got it in like 2000 and like something.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Let's see.
Oh well.
Huh.
Is it legit? Does it look cool?
It looks pretty legit. Yeah.
Oh damn! I need to get one now. now I gotta get one. I mean, they look laggy in Star Wars element. They do. I can't lie. They really do. But let's talk about the episode overall. I'm gonna pull up right now. Give me 1 second, because I'm gonna pull it up actually, where we can all look at it together. Let me just read the chat. I see the chat is pretty. Let me see here. Speaking of late to the party, I'm here now. What's going on, Mojo Quid? What's up? What up? The Eternal Sith. What's up, Anakin Skywalker? What up? We chilling right now. I'm gonna start sharing my screen for a second. I don't know if it's gonna let me. Oh, I don't think it will. Oh. Will it let me? Let's see. Oh, can you guys see anything or no?
Yeah.
What do you see?
Hold on. It's a black screen.
That's it? Oh, they're so annoying. They're not gonna let us see the images. That's annoying. Ah, damn. I wanted to look at it. All right, I'm gonna have to show like my actual like video. I didn't want to do that because I was like, I'm like showing my own stuff. Let me just show it, but whatever, because it has like my whole like setup on my YouTube channel. But
Oh, okay.
it's fine. It's fine. But I mean, overall, we know that the episode does start with Hera on the planet looking for Ahsoka and Sabine. And it was funny because we end up seeing them. Well, they're there. Hold on. Sorry, I'm gonna have to study for my exams tomorrow. I'll come back in 20-ish. Yeah, you go, bro. Go do your thing. Go do your thing. We know that she lands there, and then she ends up seeing Huang, and it's funny because Huang's like, I told them to stay together. Like I told them, I constantly told them. What did you think when you saw that? And we're like, what were your thoughts about it when you heard that?
First of all, I'm still kind of upset that Sabine made that decision, but yeah, I could relate. Like I have the kids, and I was laughing with my kids. I was like, hey, I told you guys to stick together, No, but it was I like Hu Yang, and honestly, like he's becoming one of my favorite characters in the show. So
let me tell you, he's been ripping on Sabine though. Like real talk,
he's great.
He is, but like, damn girl, like he's been really ripping on her though, like a little too much, literally.
Yeah. Talk about sass. He has the sass, so
for sure. I mean, he is the man with the plan. That is the man with the plan. Huang just knew they did that.
Yeah, he just knew. You always just know.
Yeah, and it's what I like about it. I'll tell you this. I like it because he is a character that has been around since the beginning of the Jedi, the beginning of everything. He has seen so many Jedi come and go, and I think that's the beauty of it.
That's
true.
That
is the most amazing part about it. Ahsoka the White revealing herself. I agree. That was awesome. That was probably one of the best freaking scenes. I have to say, like that really was like one of the best scenes. And that was like literally at the very, very, very end. Hold on, I want to show this image here. I want to just show of Hera so I can pull it up. So one thing I just wish it was quicker with all that. It's like bam, you just put it up and it's like as easy as right there. This is one of the images, one of the shots that we got to get. I thought it was pretty cool. She's there looking, obviously. And I was just like, and it's funny because the planet looks so empty when they got there. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
You're like, where is everyone?
I know, right? She's a Mandalorian. He's giving her what
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah, she's tough. She can handle it.
How have you liked Sabine, by the way?
I loved her in Rebels, and
have you liked her here though?
So yeah, I mean, I like her character. I'm just trying to understand her dynamic with Ahsoka a little more. So I'm giving it a little bit more time before I, But I mean, her decision that she just made kind of was like, really, Sabine? Just all he said was do it, and then all of a sudden, your loyalty shifts. So overall, I don't know.
She's so perfect for Hera. Everybody's been simping on these two. I ain't gonna front. Like, if I'm gonna call a spade, everybody's really been simping for them. It's so funny. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, everybody's like putting all these pictures, and I'm just like, oh my god. I'm like, really, guys, really? This is what we're doing right now. This is what we're doing. I'm like, y'all are just too much. Like, too much. I don't know if you've seen like the memes like that. It's like,
no.
It's pretty interesting. So, perfect. All right, cool. So I have this here. I want to show. It's gonna show like what my channel looks like when I post my video. So don't mind. It says like it has like my merch on it and all that. So let me present this so you guys can we can go because it's easier to do it like that where I can just present it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you see like the image of Huang, Jason. And it was funny because like this episode really involved Jason a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about that. Yeah,
for sure. Jedi Secrets, what's up? What's going on? I thought it was interesting to see that, like that they're really thriving with his character a lot more, and I like it actually.
Yeah, same.
I don't mind it. I think it's cool to see something like that. But yeah, so then right after we finally get the World Between Worlds with Anakin and Ahsoka, which I thought was so dope. What did you think when you saw this, like the first time? Like, what was your initial thoughts?
I couldn't believe it. I was like literally screaming repeatedly, and then I didn't notice I was screaming until like seconds after. But I mean, who doesn't want to see that? Like, we all didn't get closure. Ahsoka never got closure with Anakin. So to see them together, now him looking out for her again and not being Vader for a second even is just amazing.
But would you agree though? I feel like the one who, if I'm gonna be really real with you, I feel like the one who is owed the biggest apology is Obi-Wan. Like, I'm sorry, like I get it, like, you know, Ahsoka and everything, but like, yo, being a prequels kid, like, come on, like he fought, like I get it, like she now has her fight with him.
Yeah.
But this is after, like, where's Obi-Wan? Like, nah, I'm sorry. Like, I know, like, you know, they're Force ghosts and everything like that now, and they're probably chilling, but like, yo,
They're probably
like,
chilling.
we need to see, like, I want to see that apology. That's what I want to see. I want to see Anakin get that apology.
It's true. I agree with that. But
I mean, not Anakin get the apology. Obi-Wan. I want Obi-Wan to
yeah.
get his justice, you know, so.
That'd be really cool to see them.
El Niño Grogu. Do you read Spanish? Can you read
Yeah.
Spanish? Okay, you read better than me. I don't want to read. You can read it. My Spanish is terrible.
Let me see. Nos deja una buena añoranza. Quise decir enseñanza. Okay. Sith. Que en la vida uno tiene que pelear y esforzarse por lo que uno quiere. Saludos desde Chile.
I agree.
Hello to you too.
El Niño Grogu. I love him. He's always in my comment section. He's a real one.
That's awesome.
In all honesty, Sabine has a habit of doing some boneheaded things. She's loyal to Ezra, though. She was thinking about getting to him. She'll worry about getting back home later. I agree. That's the real purpose of this, is like, you know, we know that Sabine has, you know, like a sisterly love for him. You know, we obviously, Ezra had some feelings in the beginning, but it changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it changed after a while, obviously, right? And they became like this brother and sister thing that I actually really do enjoy, and I want to see more of it. I can't wait to see them elaborate more on it, and I'm really, really excited to see this, you know. And seeing Ahsoka now, you know, going to save Ezra, I think is really, really cool, as Ezra saved her, right, when she was fighting Vader.
Right, yeah.
So it's funny how everything now is coming full circle. Full circle. Jedi Secret says they should have brought back Matt Lanter as Anakin, because I love how he portrays Anakin in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, instead of Hayden Christensen. Do you want to take this one, or do you want me to start it?
You can start it. I don't know if my opinion is the popular one, but
mine probably won't be either. So okay. I will say this, Jedi Secrets. I understand where you're coming from, because Matt Lanter is everybody's Anakin for the Clone Wars in animation. But notice how I said in animation. And a lot of the times animated, it's like, for example, right? We all love Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka. I mean, you can attest, you've met her, right?
Yes, a few times, yeah.
You've met her, but there's a difference between, you know, animation and live action. And Hayden Christensen is just the GOAT. That is your live action Anakin. I think that Matt Lanter is phenomenal. Like, he is the Clone Wars animation. That is our Anakin for that. But I just think that Hayden Christensen as the live action, that is always going to be in everybody's, like, you can't change Luke. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't change these characters, even though in animation there's a person behind the voice, but the live action is just live action. Like, that's Hayden Christensen. But I do understand you, Jedi Secrets. I do understand you and how you can want that, especially if you did grow up with the Clone Wars. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you, what the Mickey.
I think that I agree with Jedi Secrets. And yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I loved Matt Lanter as Anakin. He is my Anakin. And he's the Anakin that drew me into Star Wars. So yeah, he's great. I mean, yeah.
Okay, not bad. Again, respect all the way.
But I mean, Hayden Christensen killed it last night. He was awesome. So.
He did. I mean, come on, girl. Like, and let me tell you, like, it did not disappoint. I'm gonna let it just kind of like go here. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Yeah, I mean, like, look at that. It looked on, like, the CGI was amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that 100%.
Like, they did such a better job. I thought they did a better job on this than Kenobi. Like, Kenobi was terrible. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I thought Kenobi was terrible. I was like, yo, I can't have this. Like, no, I'm sorry. Like, this was terrible. Like, I did not like that flashback one bit. I thought it was nice. It was cool to have, but I didn't like it.
It was kind of the flashback was forgettable. And Kenobi, I have to rewatch it because I don't remember it that well.
See what I'm saying? No, I remember it, but it just, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And we get to see them spar, which I thought was cool. We see them sparring, which which led into something. And then right after, before we do get into that part, we end up seeing, which I really like, because they're really, as we were talking about Jason Sindula before, you hear him talking to Hera, bringing her over, his mother, to listen to the waves. And he hears the lightsaber fighting going on. He knows that something is there. And when I saw this, I'm sure you thought the same thing. This really is solidifying, like, we know that it's Kanan's son, but like, this is really, like, they're really pushing it. Like, he has these abilities. And
yeah,
I think at some point they are going to capitalize on that. Go ahead. What do you think?
it's amazing. Yeah, I thought Jason was a beast, and it's so cool to see him develop all these abilities. And I mean, coming from a Kanan, I'm a huge Kanan fan, so
right,
how he's just like his daddy. So it's really cool to see him get older, and Hera have someone who could potentially assist in helping protect her, so she's not alone. As she in the future, as they go forward in their adventures and stuff. So very cool. I loved it, and I love the fact that he heard it, and then he caused her to hear it, and because at first Hera didn't hear the lightsabers.
right,
So
right.
Yeah,
No, I thought that was pretty cool. Like, he kind of, because it was basically him, like, kind of guiding his Hera to listen, to hear what's going on out there. So I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really, really cool.
yeah.
But let's go on a little bit right after, and we see that obviously. Oh, and this was the scene right here when Hayden Christensen broke down that path, and you see Ahsoka falling. I was like, oh snap! I'm like, oh snap! I was like, well, it's funny because like I already knew what was coming next. Like I was telling you, I did a video on this, and then when I saw it, I was like, all right, here we go. Then we finally get, I forget her name. Now I forgot her name. I have to go back and look. But she is the actress who plays. We were talking about it. Can you say
Gamora?
Gamora from the Avengers. I think it's Infinity War.
Infinity War, was it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. And the actress is her name. Do I have it here? Oh man, I don't have it on me. But she was in Avengers Infinity War. She was in Barbie as well, which I didn't know that.
Was she?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yes, she was. I know who she is now. Whoa.
That makes one of us, because girl, I don't know. I didn't
you haven't watched Barbie?
No, I haven't. Not because I don't want to. I just haven't had a moment. I have to go see it though.
Yes, please.
I have.
But no, that's why she's familiar. Wow, mind blown. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now we all know, right?
She's good.
Yeah. I just let me see. Hold on. Let me see here. Ahsoka, or young Ahsoka, shall I say? Because I was young Ahsoka actress, of course. And then when I'm trying to look for it,
I call her Snippy Snips. Because
her name is Ariana Greenblatt. Okay.
Is it? Let me see.
Yeah, I just found it now.
Okay.
They put it up there, or at least it's there from what I know.
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah, I see her. Okay.
Yeah, not bad.
Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah, she did really good. I appreciated the sass that she gave Anakin, because that's very realistic and what I would have pictured something live action to be, their interactions.
Yeah, and it was funny because like this scene right here, I was like, oh my god, like I need this as a portrait. I need this scene right here, this image as I need it. Like I definitely need. That this is an actual like image. I think they had done, like some artist did it. I think with Kenobi and him, with Anakin, and I noticed that they ended up doing it now with Ahsoka and him. So I thought that was really, really cool. But I mean, wow. I mean, it was so cool to see this. I thought, I was just like mind blown. What did you think when you saw this? And then of course too, oh my god, Rex.
Yes, oh my gosh. So my friend was texting me, and we were like freaking out because hello, live action Rex, that was amazing. Like something we've been all wanting to see for a long time. Right? But yeah, that whole scene was outstanding. I could not believe, like I felt like it was a dream to see young Ahsoka and in the Clone Wars, and it's everything. Like I was just obsessed with Clone Wars, so it was right up my alley. I enjoyed seeing it.
Yeah, for sure. Jedi Secret says, I got a question. Do you think we'll see Zeb and Callus in the last few episodes, or could they save that for the next season if there's even another season to be announced?
That's a good question.
I don't think they will be. I don't think they will be.
So why are they not together right now?
Who's not together?
Zeb, and why is Hera and Jason separated?
Hera and Jason.
Or Hera and Jason. You know how they're not with Zeb. Obviously, Sabine
Oh,
was
okay, gotcha. Oh,
yeah.
you're asking. Well, remember they all went there. I mean, this is I forget how many years. I think this is like 10 years after. No, this is like years after. So they all split up. You know, Zeb went to work for the New Republic and everything. So, you know, they all went their separate ways because it's been a while. That's why you even heard in I think the second episode, like they didn't, or the third one, they didn't want to fund it because they didn't believe that Thrawn or Ezra are still alive. They want to leave that behind. They don't want to touch that can of worms. So it's like that's why you see a lot of them all split up. But I mean, would it be awesome to see Zeb in this? Of course it would. It would be amazingly awesome because again, like why not get the whole crew back together, right? And especially Callus as well. I would love to see Callus.
That would be amazing.
I think we will at some point. I mean, if you think about it, like we even got. I mean, I didn't even talk. That was one of the things I didn't mention before my video, but they mentioned freaking oh my gosh, why can't I think of her name right now? Leia. They mentioned Leia. Organa, Senator Organa. They mentioned.
They did, yeah.
So I was like, okay, like we're finally getting somewhere. I'm like, you know, I think it's just slowly but surely, because again, like we just got Anakin, we just got Rex, we just got the Clone Wars in live action again. You know, they don't want to have an oversaturation. What I was telling you before off the street, you know, you don't want to. You don't want to, you know, give your whole hand of, you know, your whole deck of cards just yet, you know?
Right.
I think you want to just kind of like let it gradually ease in. But again, you guys in the comment section, you know, comment, you know, what do you think? Do you want to see Zeb? Do you want to see Callus? Do you think that we'll see them in this season? I mean, as you guys know, I did put out a video that I did know what ended up happening this episode a couple days ago. So y'all already know. Well, I told you in that video, I know what ends up happening for the season. So that's for another video. But let me read Mojo quick. I can't believe Zeb wasn't there when Hera went to help. He's in the same squadron as are you talking about Carson Teva? Yes. And it's funny because I thought there was a moment that Zeb would have popped up. I really did. I was really convinced that he was going to show up and ended up not showing up. And I was like, I was like, damn, like, I don't care. Like Callus, yeah, you know, I get it, but more Zeb than anybody because Zeb is day one. Like Zeb is day one, you know, and
I know it's true. Like it doesn't seem realistic that he wouldn't show up.
Yeah,
I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed with that, but hey, you never know what ends up happening later on. So
yeah.
We then see here Ahsoka being young Ahsoka holding on to this clone trooper. I thought that was so deep. It was so moving.
Yeah.
She was holding him because, you know, again, she was very sad. Again, it's, you know, we you know, I think she did mention it, you know, like there was so much death in the Clone Wars. There was so much that had happened, you know, and then she blames herself. And you kind of hear Anakin kind of telling her, like, no, you have to be a leader. Like, you know, these things are going to happen, basically, you know. And they are. Like, that's what it is. When you're a Jedi and you're leading, you know, there's going to be so much death, you know.
Yeah.
This shot right here, though.
Can we talk about how amazing that he looks as Anakin right there? I don't know.
Go ahead, light it up. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
He looks just like Clone Wars Anakin. And I was like, whoa, to see Clone Wars, my favorite version of Anakin, like live action, was surreal. It was just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was cool. I know a lot of you guys, like, again, I am more of a prequels kid. I didn't watch the Clone Wars till like probably a couple years ago. I'm not gonna lie to you because well, I'm old. Well, I mean, I'm old. Well, not old. I'm old. But like when Clone Wars came out, I was already like living life. Like I was working. Like I didn't have time for all that. And then I think like when I started right before I became a YouTuber, I was like, let me just school myself. Let me just go back to school and watch everything. And then I was like, all right, cool. Like this is it. Like it's a lot of content, but you know, it's good stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like Rebels. I guess because it's like 4 seasons and it's not a lot, but Clone Wars is too much. Too many episodes. Too many damn seasons.
Oh no. I have to agree to disagree with you on that one because I love Clone Wars.
I thought plus too, like, come on, you got Vader, man. Like you got Vader being Vader. Like Vader was brutal in Rebels. I feel like everybody craps on Rebels, but like, yo, Vader was dope in Rebels. Like, I'm sorry, like Vader's dope in Rebels.
Yeah.
But this was good. It was cool to see it. It was cool to see it.
It was awesome, yeah.
I will say though, you know, like this right here. Tell me when you're walking away and then you see that.
Okay. So tell me what that meant to you.
I I mean, it just showed me. I think if I have it here, I don't know if I had put it in my video. Oh no, I
And guys, if you're watching, like, I want to know what it meant to you. Like, as he's walking away, right? He was Anakin, and then he turned into Vader, and then he turned to Anakin again. So tell me, do you think it's abstract?
I just think that it's it's the this whole training for Ahsoka is showing her her fears, and she did fear. She couldn't defeat Vader. Remember in Rebels, she couldn't.
Right.
It was a great fight, but she could have had Ezra not saved her. She would not be alive. So I think she's just seeing that because again, even when she's fighting Anakin, who you see like kind of like the change into Vader, she couldn't. Like he overpowered her the whole lesson. Until the very, very end, which we'll get into in a few. But that's that's how I saw it, and that's how I kind of like interpreted it. Then we see Carson Teva right after looking for Ahsoka, and then you hear Hera just saying basically like keep looking for them, don't stop, as they are running out of fuel. Like that's like their main thing is they're running out of fuel. And I thought it was funny because you end up hearing Huyang talk to Hera, basically saying like, all right, like I mean it's cool that that's awesome that they approved you doing this, and she's just like no.
Yeah.
And she's like,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't do that. But I liked it because Huyang was like, you know what? But that's what makes you so great is because you always do the things, that people would really want. You always want to save the day. And that's, that's what makes
she cares. Exactly.
She cares. She definitely cares, as you see that there. And then right here, oh, man, let's talk about this. I have to say, when we saw the Siege of Mandalore in live action, what were your thoughts on live action? What were your thoughts?
I was like, I didn't see it coming. But it was great. It looked amazing. Like it looked just like I thought it would on, like it did on in the show and what I always pictured it. So
and let me tell you, it like the fighting style, it's so funny how you go from phase 1 to the end of the Clone Wars. Like you see like season 1 and like season 7, like her fighting finesse, like her fighting style just changed so dramatically. And you see like how she advanced, like she threw herself on the floor the same way she did. If you notice, it was like the same fighting style actually as the choreography. I don't know if you've ever seen the behind the scenes with Ray Park, the choreography scene with Ahsoka and Darth Maul on the Siege of Mandalore. That was the same kind of scene. That was the same fighting style.
No, I haven't seen it. That's wow. You gotta link me to that. I want to see it.
Yeah, if you see, they do a whole like behind the scenes with Ray Park and the other person, the other actress who does the choreography for the fight scene. It's really, really cool. And
wow,
that was it there. Like that was it there. Literally, like they did such a good job with her, and it's just they did such a good job. And then we see obviously the Maul Trooper. I thought there's the Death Watch. I thought it was so dope, so freaking dope.
Yeah,
and then of course phase three. I mean, phase 3. Yeah, the last phase, whatever. Like the ending of whatever. Yeah. So many freaking phases. I don't even know. But we finally got Rex again. What did you think when you saw this version? Because now it's not phase 1 anymore. It's not season 1. It's season 7 Rex. Like, how were you? I mean, because are you a big Captain Rex fan?
Yes, and my friend is even more than I am though, and she was like freaking out, and I was like, oh my god, we're seeing Rex. Like we're seeing Rex live action. This is incredible. But yeah, no, their interaction, it was so cool. Like what was your favorite part of seeing them, like their dynamic?
I mean, I just thought it was cool to hear. I mean, I thought it would have been really dope to like see them take off the helmet. I think
so too. I agree with that.
I think you had mentioned that off the stream. I would have really liked that, but I mean, it was cool to see just that in live action. And by the way, did you notice that those were the clone troopers that Ahsoka, the 332nd? Did you notice that? They had the helmets. I was like, oh shoot, because I'm like, remember this is the Siege of Mandalore, so they had the like that face paint on their helmets.
Yeah.
It took me a second to realize that, but I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
I think Anakin was on the tough love bit. Him turning glitching into Vader mode seemed like a literal present form of him, as in his Force ghost, which we're gonna talk about. We're going to talk about at the very end. I think she was really interacting with him. I think so too. And I'll talk about why I think that. I think his spirit glitched because reliving the Clone Wars brought up the negativity in his spirit. And she literally brought him back from going poltergeist, Force ghost, LOL. Agreed. I agree with that one, which, like I said, we'll talk at the very end after we look at the images from here. And then right here, we end up seeing Anakin coming in, and he's like, I've never seen this before. I can't remember this. And then you hear Ahsoka basically saying like, this was the Siege of Mandalore. This is where we had already parted ways, and we hear the conversation, and she just tells him, because I think I can't remember word for word, but he's just like, like you are like the splitting image of me, like you are me basically. And she's like, Anakin, like I'm basically not. It's like you are, like you like deceived everybody, like you were too dangerous, you were extremely dangerous, and he's just like, you haven't learned your lesson yet, back to the beginning, and then this is when he turns into the whole like Vader thing right here. You see the lightsaber ignite red.
Yes.
And then they start fighting, and he kicks her back, and then we get Rosario Dawson, Ahsoka back. And then here we see the two of them fighting, which I thought again was so cool to see them fighting.
I thought that was amazing. That was my favorite part of the episode.
I know it really was. And it's funny because I don't know if you noticed, but like as we go a little fast forward now, do you see her eyes?
Yeah.
Got the Sith eyes.
You know what's interesting about that particular, the Sith eyes? I think that it's really cool because if Anakin really is like what we were talking about earlier, if he really is the father, let's say, we'll talk about it later, but it would make sense like Ahsoka needing the training to kind of embrace the darkness sometimes, because the true Jedi, as she has shown us before in Clone Wars, a true Jedi can balance light and dark,
Correct. Agreed.
So maybe that was part of the training. What do you guys think? But I think it's part of the training that she needs to tap into her dark side sometimes and just balance it out.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I also think too, this reminded me so much of the Mortis arc when she did turn bad. Remember, she was like,
yes.
That's what it reminded me of. And I'm like, all right, this is homage to that. But then right after, she ends up grabbing his lightsaber and throws it over, and she's like, no, like I'm not, because remember he was like incorrect, she's like, I'm not dying, and he's like incorrect,
right?
And after you see that, the good old Hayden smile, old Hayden smile, and then after that he disappears into the light, into the mist, into where we don't know, which we'll talk about at the very end of all of this. And then after you see that she does wake up, they end up saving her. She was in the water, as you guys saw from the episode. She's back now, and she ends up kind of finds out everything that is going on. You see their Hera is basically, like telling her like, all right, you're back now. I know, you're not, you just came back, but like, where's Sabine? And she's just like, dude, I have no idea. I thought you guys would know. Like, she's like, I thought you guys would know. She's like, the last time I saw her was, the fight with Balin. I don't really know. But then she ends up taking the star map, and she starts kind of sensing what's around, to see what had happened prior. And she figures out that Sabine ended up getting taken, but she's still alive.
She pulled a Cal Kestis, as I like to say. And she was able to echo, what's it called? Echo something. But she was able to hear what happened by the touch.
Basically.
Yeah.
And then right after we also learn too that, we see her thank Jason Syndulla for saving her, because that is something that Huang said. Like, if it wasn't for Jason, you would not be here right now, because he was the one who, if you heard us in the beginning of the video when we were talking about it, he's the one who told the Ghost Crew, he told Hera to fly low, because she's going to be there, as he was listening to the waves and listening to the sound of the lightsaber battle. So she ended up being there, which is what we see after when they saved her a little bit right after. And then I thought this was so funny when he was like, when Ahsoka's like, all right, like you could go to the, the Jedi training room, whatever. He's like, yeah, I've been on that. He's like, I've seen one, but she's like, not on a Jedi like starship. And he's like, oh my god, like
can I build lightsaber? Can you teach me how to build? No.
I know. He's like, can you train me like a Jedi? No. Can you build me a lightsaber? No. So I'm like,
yeah. He's like, no,
I'm telling you, like, I love Huang. Like, he is low key. He's like the Chopper of Rebels.
He's like, awesome.
I think he's great. I think he's phenomenal. And then we see here Mon Mothma telling Hera basically that they cannot, to basically come back to Coruscant, bring the fleet back and come back. And you hear Hera basically saying like, no, like that's not happening. And Ahsoka all the more is not going to approve of it now, especially now. So I was like, oh damn, like this is going down. And then to finish it off, we end up seeing Ahsoka embracing her Gandalf-like thing, where she basically now is wearing her full white attire now that we saw in Star Wars Rebels at the very end. and where she goes and picks up actually Sabine, which is something that they should have did when she picked her up, even in the early episodes for Ahsoka, but whatever. But anyway, we end up finding out that she does the same thing that Ezra does, which is talk to the Purrgil, and ends up being that they go inside the mouth of the Purrgil and go into hyperspace, and they are on their way to Peridia to find Thrawn and Ezra.
Yeah.
We have our last images here. I thought this was so cool. This, I'm telling you, I want somebody to like draw this, or I need this in a poster. Like, I don't even care that I can't see
Hold
them.
on, because I'm gonna take a picture. Hold on, my screenshot.
I have the picture if you want it. I can send it.
Yes, please
I'll
send it to
send
me.
it to you.
Okay.
I'll send it
Because
to you.
I want to ask my friend. He's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna see if I get this drawn for me, or at least like blow it up in a poster, because I thought this was so beautiful. I thought it was an amazing shot. I mean, I was like, when I took it, I was like, oh, this is great. This is like, I'm sure they're gonna come out with some stills as time goes on, but like,
I'm sure, yeah.
this is a beautiful poster, I have to say.
Mhm.
Like, and it's so funny because it's so minimal. It does like it, but it speaks volume, right?
Mhm.
Like, you don't even know what's going on in the background, but you see what's going on between the two. You know, there's a relationship there. You know,
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
love that. You know, that's what I love about art, is that, you know, it just speaks to you. You know, we see Hayden there, and then we see young Ahsoka, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it was a great episode.
Amazing episode. I have to say, I was really satisfied with it.
Yeah.
You know, but I have no, I really have what. So if you want, you give your review on it and talk about it. So go ahead, go for it, girl.
I like how, this is really random, but I like the how Ahsoka was with Jason, and it hit home for me because like I always wondered how she would have acted around Luke and Leia, being so close to Anakin, being practically Anakin's sister. You know, how she would have been like Auntie Ahsoka, you know, and how she would have, you know, trained them, talked to them or whatever. So seeing her interact with Jason, it made me happy because it kind of gave me like how Ahsoka would be with the younger crowd. And I've always wanted to see that. So to see that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. What was your favorite part of the episode, if you had to like kind of give a favorite part?
I think it was that duel with Rosario Dawson and Hayden. That one at the end, like where
the last one, right, when he turns into Vader.
Yeah.
Right. And she grabs the lightsaber and throws it away, and she's like, "No, I'm not dying. Like, that's not happening." She's like, "No."
Yeah, I choose to live.
I choose to live. That's right. She's like, "I choose to live. I'm here. I'm all for the clout." Okay. Well, we'll talk about predictions later. I'll talk about mine. I mean, I talked about it in my video, my breakdown, but overall, I really enjoyed it. I have to say, they did the choreographing, the fighting. It really gave you Nick Gillard vibes, especially with Anakin Scott. If you guys don't know who Nick Gillard is, go watch he does an interview with Star Wars Theory as well. I mean, he's done, a whole bunch of stuff where he talks about, the behind the scenes fighting of training, Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen with the fighting. It's just so amazing. Like, you see this fight, it just gives you prequel vibes. And that's what it did for me. Yeah. And again, I know there's people who are not going to be too happy with the episode. People are going to find whatever they want about it. I really don't care what y'all got to say. Like, y'all can comment. I respect it. It's welcomed here because I would love to challenge it. But you know what? Like, at the end of the day, it hit the note that I at least wanted as a prequels fan. I've been dying to see Hayden Christensen come back as Anakin Skywalker. Like, Kenobi.
Yeah.
That wasn't even like it was really, to me, it was a slap in the face because they should have done so much better for that one. Like, that quick little thing that he had with Ewan McGregor, his version of Obi-Wan, like, it just could have been done better. And he looks so old. Like, Hayden Christensen looks so, the de-aging on that looked terrible. He still looked like his 40-year-old self. And I'm just like, dude, guys, like, what are you doing? Like, you have all this money in the world and you can't get it right. Like, and it's tough for them because, like, they really drop the ball. Like, a lot of the times, like, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on with you guys. But I guess because Dave Filoni's behind it, they were able to just be like, all right, guys, like, we got to be on our A game. Like, Filoni's here. Like, let's make this legit. Like, let's make this legit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it was cool. It was cool. I like that. I really love the back and forth with Ahsoka and Anakin. It's funny because I'm not, like I said, I didn't grow up with the Clone Wars, but it made it so relatable because it's like, you know, you always have that figure that ends up guiding you through life and growing up. And that's what I reminded myself. And that's why sometimes, you know, I look at Star Wars, that's my escape, and that's what I grew up with. And, you know, you always can relate to something, regardless if it's sci-fi, animation, whatever it may be, you always can relate yourself to something because you can see yourself in that person. And, you know, seeing Ahsoka learning her lesson that Anakin really wanted to, you know, train her and remind her, by the way, we finally got, I don't know if my other co-host is here, but I don't know, it's a blank. Let's see if he comes on. Are you here, Darth Vader? Are you here?
No, I'm not here.
Okay, right. It's your Force Ghost as well. It's his Force Ghost. There you go. It's his Force Ghost this year. But yeah, welcome. How are you?
Tired, sleepy, hungry.
Tired what?
You heard what I said. Tired, sleepy, hungry. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we can't hear you, bro. We cannot hear you at all.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yes, AT&T. Yes, we are raising the bar. All we hear is your fan. So I'm gonna mute you. When you good, you let me know. All right. He's gonna work on that. I'm gonna give him a minute or two, and then I'll unmute him. Or he could unmute it. You could unmute it, Darth Vader, when you're ready. I think you could unmute it when you're ready. Oh, there you go. Are you good now?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah, we can hear you. Cool. So like I was saying, what was I saying? I need you to be my moderator. I don't remember what I was saying.
Me neither.
Talking about Ahsoka and Anakin. Just seeing that dynamic between the two and really seeing that really grow, I thought really it hit home for me. And I just thought, like I said, it's relatable. I really enjoyed it because, like I said, you know what's funny? It gave me chills. I don't know if it gave you chills too, but it gave me chills because it was just like, I don't know if it was chills because like I've been dying to see this interaction for so long, but that's kind of like how I felt. And I was just happy. I was happy we finally got it. And it's like I don't know if you can see it here. I have the Hayden Christensen like.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have the Hot Toys one, the Clone Wars version.
Very
I have
cool.
that. So I was like, when they showed that, I was like, I see you, Annie. Annie, are you okay? I'm okay.
Annie, okay, yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good. It was really, really good. And to see that I was happy they even showed like the glitch of Vader. I thought that was so dope.
Yes, that was pretty awesome.
And it was funny because so many people, I remember I had sent it to Darth Vader. Like, I know I saw a whole bunch of other people too talking about like, that's Vader's lightsaber. That's his lightsaber. And it ended up being that it's not. It's really not. It's Anakin's lightsaber. It's just he kept on switching on and off. He just glitched, So it was just that. But overall, like I said, the episode for me it hit home. I mean, like I said, if you're a hater, you could hate all you want. But the show did what it did. It was Dave Filoni. I'm not gonna say he's saving Star Wars. You will never hear me say anybody saving Star Wars because that will never happen, hasn't happened, and it is what it is. We're just gonna get content that we're gonna like, and that's what it is. And I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong. But did Filoni deliver? I have to say he did deliver on the episode that he did want to deliver on, and it hit the note. It touched on everything Clone Wars that you wanted. You got your Captain Rex. Whoa. Darth Vader, I'm going to mute you until you talk because right now there's a little echo. So it gave you everything that you wanted. It gave you the Clone Wars scenes, which is what everybody wanted to see.
Yeah.
It gave you young and it gave you mid Ahsoka, like beginning of the Clone Wars, and then you got the ending of the Clone Wars. And then again, Captain Rex. I mean, how much more can you ask for in a flashback or not even a flashback, a portal?
Yeah. Or in an episode, like in a single episode.
There you go. That too. I was hoping for more, but I didn't mind it. Like I said, I think I would have wanted more, but I was content. They can always do more later on. I know you and me were talking about it off screen. If they do a season 2 of Ahsoka, but then it just wouldn't make sense because it's like he basically finished her training. And again, we'll go into that later on that part.
Then it could be Ahsoka season 2, aka Rebels, continued.
Rebel season 6, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Because right now it's a season 5, so but we'll do season 6 later. Because you know what the next flashback has to be now. We already got Anakin. You know who, or at least something we have to see is who do you think the next one would be? I could tell you who, but I want to see if you get it.
Hmm.
Darth Vader. Who you think?
Oh, all of a sudden.
I had to because there's an echo. That's what I tell you.
There's an echo? Like still? Like you can still hear an echo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's why I have
Like
to mute.
we hear ourselves talking back to ourselves.
Yeah, that's why I have to mute you now because the moment we talk, that's why I say you gotta be here before the stream. Gotta do it.
Hey, I'm here before the stream. Oh, you all also, I was gonna tell you, you gotta turn that music down, your background music.
Do you hear it, Tati?
I do. I hear it.
Is it loud?
Try turning it down a little bit. Now I'm curious.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna turn it down. But I don't think that's what the issue is though, because no, still not the issue.
Well, also, I'm gonna tell you because like when we streamed the other day, and we were streaming the series like last week, we couldn't use any of those clips because you had the music playing.
Yeah, that's what the StreamYard does. You're allowed to have that music.
Yeah, I'm saying like when trying to make I would say when we're like watching it, I would say turn it off. Like watching the actual.
Oh, you're talking about when we're watching, when we're doing the watch party. Oh, well,
yeah.
Well, that's something I'll talk to you about after why I do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that now. The only reason why I'm saying is that the echoes because it's very, very loud and it just brings it back. So it's like you hear double of us. But what did you think of the episode overall?
Well, like I told you, like I kind of knew what was going to happen going into it, and then it was just, I don't know. I was still surprised, even though I already knew it was going to happen. Exactly, I was like, wow, just seeing it just was blowing me away. But
yeah,
I like what they did with Anakin, like just like the duality of like now he's the yin and yang, and he's a Force ghost, but at the same time he's not. Like he's in the middle ground. Like they did something different, and I'm just waiting for Dave to give that explanation because I know it's gonna make sense, but it's just gonna add some more layers onto like what we already know. Because now people are just confused. They're happy and confused because they're like, oh, I know what Force ghost is supposed to be. I'm like, yeah, but he's not a Force. This isn't Force ghost. This is different.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling that's what I was telling Tati. I'm like, it's not a Force ghost. It's more than just that. It's more than just that because and I guess we could talk about it now. If you think about it, my bad, Darth Vader. I'm just gonna mute it just because so that way there's no back and forth. If you think about it, right, it goes to the Mortis arc and everything. He's mastered it. He is the God. He is the Father at this point. He can master the world between worlds. Because remember what was it? When you see the Mortis arc, it ends up being that he's the only one that can stop the brother and the sister. So you have seen here, that's what he's done. He's mastered the world between worlds.
Very good.
I wouldn't say mastered, but I would tell you he is he's the new guardian of it.
Well, if he's the guardian, then he mastered it because he knows what. Because if you think about it, and this is what I was telling Tati, is that when we got Star Wars Rebels, Ezra and Ahsoka had no idea what to do. They didn't know anything, and even Palpatine couldn't even get in. Because remember, there's only two people that can get in. That would be the father. I mean, that would be the daughter and the brother. They were the only ones, and Anakin right now is the only one that's there that is, like you said, of a guardian, which I agree, but knows what's possible and what's not possible there. And that's why you saw Ahsoka not even going through portals. It was basically like just realities. He was just going through different realities of the timeline.
Well, I mean, they didn't go in. Like they're the guardians of like getting in and everything. But the father and son, even though they're just
the doors. That's all they are.
They're just the door. They're just the doors. Mortis is totally different than the world. But anyway, Mortis is its own thing, but he is the guardian or the god of the world between worlds. Correct. So it's two different things, like separately. But right. The whole Mortis arc did go in hand in hand with how he was able to attain that power. But it's just different. It's hard to explain what they're doing with it. But right. Yeah, he, like I said, he's the guardian of this now. But at the same time, this is why he hasn't come back to be like a Force ghost. You know, that's why he hasn't been like a Force ghost to Luke, because it's like he's watching. He's the Guardian. He can't leave. He's Obi-Wan Kenobi of like on Tatooine. Like that's his post.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely think the same thing. I just think that's why, that's why you don't like. I agree. I think that's why you don't see him as much, because he is that, and I think that he's kind of like that's where he is. He's mastered it to the point where he now can be in that world between worlds. As we know, the Mortis gods can't do that, so he has mastered it to that point where he can be in there and he can take Ahsoka. That's why he's the one who knew. He knew that Balin had basically killed her. He's like, basically she should have died. But he had one last lesson for her, and that's why you saw the training happen with her in that War Between Worlds. What did you think, though, overall, seeing, how they did it? What did you think of the job that they did with Anakin and seeing him back in, the whole
I can't tell you how many times I've watched this episode now. Like it's like almost like perfect. Like sometimes I had to stop and go back and be like, oh yeah, that's it. They did CGI his face. Right. But from the acting, like it's funny because they made a good. There's a distinction between Clone Wars Anakin and Hayden Christensen's Anakin.
Right.
There was a good meld between the two characters because they're very, very different. On top of that, just the fighting style, like it was almost like. It was almost like shot for shot, like his fighting style, his like everything, like
it was very Nick Gillard, bro. It was very Nick Gillard. I can tell you that. Like literally.
Yeah, that was literally all like Nick Gillard and everything. So I'm wondering if they brought him back, which they probably didn't, or they just went back and were like, all right, we have to get his choreography kind of exactly like this, because there's one point. It made me think, and I was going to talk to you about it. So Anakin does the same moves, the same move at the end, that how he cuts Count Dooku's hands off.
Correct. Yes, he did.
Yeah, and Ahsoka saw that and was like, you're not going to get me with that.
It was what? What was the last part?
So she saw what he was doing, because it's the same move.
Anakin did to Count Dooku.
Yeah, he does that. Like he tried to kill Obi-Wan with the same move that Maul got. That how he got Maul, and then he tried to get Ahsoka with the same move that he got Dooku, and she saw that and countered like, because who else is gonna know your moves better than the person you train with?
Correct, and that's why he told her. That's why he kept saying, like, don't. Basically, like, don't worry, because we saw that one part where, she was just like, everybody knows how dangerous you really were, and he's just like, don't worry about that. Like basically, like, we're gonna go back to the beginning of the training because you're just not getting it, and that's not what he wanted her to focus on or even worry about. And it's funny because even like so the other thing I was gonna tell you too. So you mentioned the Dooku part, and that's what I was telling Tati, and I think you and me spoke about it earlier today too. Even when they're fighting, it had to be like you saw Ahsoka literally mirroring the same moves that she did when she was fighting Maul. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
it was the same moves. I was like,
the same moves. Yeah,
it had to have been the same choreographer, like that did the fight scene for the Maul one. Had to have been.
Well, yeah, because after that, it's not Nick Gillard. It was
I forgot her name. It was She's the one that played with Ray Park in that video, the behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's the same girl, but she's one of the stunt people that's on the it's on the team. So she's been in a bunch of Lucasfilm productions. But the thing is, they have different stunt choreographers for different shows, right? Especially the lightsabers and stuff. So it's all over the place. Sometimes you get somebody who's like very like, okay, we have to take what they did and make it our own. And then sometimes you have those people that are like, all right, we're just gonna do our completely different thing. And then like Anakin said, it's all legacy. You should be able to see like what Jedi was taught by who, by like all their fighting styles, and like they all root from Yoda. You get Yoda to Count Dooku to Qui-Gon, down to Obi-Wan, down to Anakin, down to Ahsoka. So and it's like when you see all that and that, understand, you can see they all have the same fighting style, and then you go to like say Rey and Kylo, and it's all completely different. Like Kylo fights like Luke, who is like really like untrained. So I don't know. I don't know what this man, but like and they were like completely different like people for the sequels, but I don't know who did this one. I'm really like interested to see who like did like the choreography.
Yeah, Dave giving us nostalgic PTSD of
Mhm.
and the Clone Wars. It's true. It's true. It's a fact. He really was. I mean, I have to like. That's why I said to you. Like, I think I like how you see the beginning of the Clone Wars. You see Anakin wearing his Clone Wars attire, and then at the very end, you see him wearing the Revenge of the Sith. As he wasn't there for the Siege of Mandalore. That's why you hear him. He's like, I have no. He's like, what is this? I don't remember this. And she's like, literally, this is where we parted ways at this point. Like we weren't, we didn't know anything. Like that's it. It was done. What was done was done. And I like that. Like that's what I was telling. I don't know if it was you, Darth Hater, or it was Power of the Force. I was talking to somebody about it today, where it was so funny because me as a prequels kid, and Tati, maybe you could like attest to this. And I think we spoke about it off the stream. I've been dying to see Anakin, like somebody confront him, like, yo, do you know how much damage? Do you know that you literally just changed the course of history?
Right.
Like, you know what you did? And like to finally hear Ahsoka, even though it's not Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka, it's the young Ahsoka, be like, yo, like you literally destroyed everything. Like you met, like, yo, you have no idea how crazy like you were. Like you're basically like, it's just like in crazy. It's just insane. And to hear that like interaction, I was just like, and he like brushed it off. He was just like, no, like that's not what we're here for. Like we're not gonna talk about that. Like you're dangerous. Like
but she said what we were all thinking, which I appreciated.
I loved it. And that's the same thing. Like I've been dying to see that with Kenobi. Like I cannot wait one day if they do a what if. Like I would love for him or Kenobi to be like, yo, like do you even remember? Like do you know what just happened? Like I don't know. I'm done.
Well, you gotta appreciate the fact that he's come to terms with like his past. Like he's accepted the good and the bad. So it's really a yin and a yang. That's why whenever you see him fighting, like he turns into Vader and then back and forth, and then the voice and the breathing, I was like, okay, he's really accepted like his past and what he did, and he's come to terms with it. And it was kind of interesting when Ahsoka first saw him in the bridge. She was more happy, than like, oh wow, wait a minute, because it's like the last time they saw each other, he tried to kill her. So it's like even though he's in the suit, which is completely different, and Ahsoka's scared of Vader. She's not scared of Anakin. It was like, who this is. You know what he tried to do to you.
And let me tell you, they really mirrored the fight scene between Ahsoka and Vader. Like it was like if you look at the style of the fighting, it was like the same, like it was the same the same form that they had in Rebels. I was like, oh, this is literally like you're literally taking it from Rebels.
Yeah.
Literally. I was like, all right, cool. This is what we're doing. Literally.
So do you think that Anakin should have said something along the lines of, it's not your fault I turned into Vader. It was my destiny or something like that. What do you guys think?
No, we already got that with Kenobi. Like there's no sense in repeating. Like we got that closure with like Kenobi in the last series.
What I'm sorry, what are you talking about? What closure? Which one?
She's talking about like with him saying it's not your fault, like gotcha. Like we just got that, like with Kenobi, it's not your fault, Obi-Wan, like you didn't kill Anakin, I did. Like we already got that.
That's true.
Repeating the same thing, even though they technically did that with Rebels and Kenobi, cracking his helmet, kind of the same. We already got that twice.
Yeah, I was actually happy because I know like there had been rumors that they were gonna mirror or they were gonna re-show that Malachor V fight, and I'm actually happy they did away with it. I think it got filmed, but they just like, for example, like Yosef, and that's what I was telling her. Darth Vader, I don't know if you know this, but like they really did, I was reading an article, they really did cast Savannah Stein, and they just booted it out. They didn't put it in.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like that's insane. Like she really did.
Because I was looking for her. I was like surprised. I was like, wait, there's supposed to be 2 young Ahsokas. Like, why do we only have 1?
Well, Savannah Stein was supposed to be the one for the Siege of Mandalore, and then this girl was supposed to be the first the beginning of the Clone Wars.
At the end of the day, it fit perfectly. So I'm not even mad that they didn't really drastically change her, even though it would have made sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm looking at Savannah Stein, and I think that it would have been cool to see her as Siege of Mandalore Ahsoka. Just saying.
I'm gonna be really honest with you. I think she would have been a way better, like a way better pick, to be honest.
There we go.
All right, Helmet.
Inspirational. Thank you.
You
All
got to
right.
put the thinking bucket on.
All right, Helmet.
Nice.
Lord Helmet. Let me read this here. I found it interesting how he could balance as the dark side and the light side in his Jedi Ghost. It reminded me like the brother and sister of the Force, but as if both of them, he could balance both. Well, that's what I'm saying is that like that's why I do say he has mastered it because he's not he's not necessarily a Force ghost because he doesn't have the aura or that essence of a Force ghost. He's not a Force ghost in this world between worlds.
Yeah,
he has mastered it to the point where, again, that's why the Mortis arc, plays a big part. And that's why it's like, Darth Vader, I know in your story you had put it. I mean, we've been talking about it. And I said this a long time ago too. You cannot sit here and say, oh, I'm not going to watch the animated shows. You have to watch the animated shows because the Mortis arc, if you watch The World Between Worlds right now and seeing Anakin in it, you're not going to understand why without seeing the Mortis arc. Like, you just can't. It just wouldn't make sense to you because you can understand that Anakin was the one. So he was the only one. Remember, the father said it. The only one that can, basically put a stop to the brother and the sister was the chosen one, which was that of Anakin. And that's why you see in The World Between Worlds, he's, as Darth Vader called it, he is the guardian. He has mastered it. He's the guardian. He's the only one who can take you to different portals or different visions or different realities in that, or not realities, but like past, just flat, like past stuff. He can do that in The World Between Worlds.
I would say also, I didn't say it, but it's also because he is the balance. Yes. He was the one that's destined to bring balance to the Force, and he ended up being the balance. And I think this is Dave's way of saying, like, he fulfilled his destiny, and then this is the second part of that. This is the ongoing, like, okay, like he is the balance in this, and he found balance within himself. That's why he's like able to flash between the good and evil sides of him.
Yeah.
And speaking of finding balance within yourself, I think also that's another reason why I don't believe that Anakin should straight up apologize to Ahsoka, because I feel like he's also trying to teach her to find forgiveness, and in order to move on, you got to look within yourself, and you got to make sure that you're up to par with where you're going and what you're standing for and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like, we're gonna be asking, or like so many. This whole episode raised so many questions, and you can look at it from different perspectives. And
right,
like, you're gonna find. I feel like you're gonna find something new every time you watch it. Like even the last time I watched it, I just realized like, he is because Ahsoka in this whole show, like even in the Mando, she doesn't want to train anybody. She's so standoffish. He's like basically teaching her to lead, like, like pass on your legacy, be a teacher. Like it's the role of like a Jedi to be like a master to somebody. There's no sense in doing all this to just let it go. He even says it at the beginning of the Clone Wars, and that's like, what does he say? Do you even want to have a Padawan?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, remember, that's what I was telling Tati. I'm like, him asking that question and this whole lesson is because it all leads to Sabine. That's what this leads to. That's what this really is. That's what the lesson is. Really, I mean, other things too, because if you think about it, Ahsoka technically she never really stopped believing. She always believed. She didn't really need anything. It's just the simple fact that she didn't believe in training. Because remember, she's kind of been conflicted because we saw her conflicted with Grogu. We saw her stop her training with Sabine, then go back to it. But she didn't really know how to really be, she didn't really know how to really be a master. And I think that, seeing Anakin kind of train her and show her the way again, I think really comes full circle for what is to come for her relationship with Sabine toward the ending of this of the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, that, and who knows? Maybe she might have a change of heart when it comes to Grogu, since Luke gave Grogu that
That's
choice,
true.
and he's no longer there.
Well, I'll take
Yeah.
it. I'll take it even a step further. Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Jason too.
great.
Jason's
Jason now.
Ahsoka is the out for Jason and Grogu to not get like diced on,
The Jedi Academy.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's what I think is going to end up happening, because you're not going to introduce.
I think you're muted.
Yeah.
Am I muted now?
No.
Okay. What I was saying is that you're not going to introduce and show two characters and off them just like that. You're not doing that. Like that, not so soon. By the way, Jasmine is here. I don't know if you're here right now. You here? Hey, what's up, girl? Welcome.
Hi, sorry, no camera for today. I hope my voice is okay.
No, you're good. You're good, girl. My bad. I didn't even notice I didn't send you the link. I was like, oh, damn it. I was like, damn, I forgot. I thought I had sent it to you. I had to like go back and look. I was like, damn. But what did you think of this? I know we're like going back and forth. We got Dupree, we got Tati. What did you think of the episode 5?
Oh my gosh, it hit me in the feels. I actually kind of started tearing up. Like I thought it was so well done, especially because the first 4 episodes, I thought they were kind of slow. I didn't quite like them, but I feel like this really picked up, and I thought it was so well done. And it was amazing to see, Anakin and Ahsoka in live action together. And I feel like it was well done and not just like, oh, here in your face fan service.
Right.
I really enjoyed it. I thought this was really.
Yeah, no, I agree. What did you think of the fight scene though between the two of them, like the training?
I liked it. I thought it was really interesting to especially see the younger Ahsoka with Anakin and just get to see more of that dynamic. I thought that was really well done. It didn't look as cheesy as the fight scenes in the first 4 episodes.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that I thought it was cool because, like I talked about it before, you saw that relationship with the two of them, and it was like we have never seen that in live action. It was just so cool to see, especially the younger Ahsoka. And also too, like, I know you're a big Clone Wars fan, and then to see finally Anakin Skywalker in his Clone Wars like armor, I'm sure you must have been like simping hard like for that. Like you were probably, oh my God. And come on, Captain Rex, girl.
I screamed. I was like, yes, that's Rex.
And not just 1 in 2 scenes. And you got the beginning of Rex, like phase 1, and then you got, what is it, phase 3 or 4, whatever the hell you call
Phase
it.
2, yeah.
Phase
Phase 2.
Yeah, I'm terrible with the phases. Like I said, I'm still a prequels. I'm more prequels than the Clone Wars type, so don't come at me with that. But yeah, what did you think though?
Oh my gosh, it was so cool to see him in live action like that, and just to see all the clones, because like you said, I'm very obsessed with the clones and the Clone Wars era of Star Wars. So just to get to see that in live action and see Rex and see Ahsoka especially interacting with them, because she's always been really good in the cartoons with the clones. So to get to see that, especially when she was holding the trooper's hand. Oh my gosh, it felt like they were doing Ahsoka right with that. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, for sure. Thoughts about live action clones? I personally thought they were. I think Charles, we were talking about that in the break in one of the videos that I put out. I agree. That was one of my biggest takeaways, and I was telling you, Tati, is that everything just looks so clunky. Like it was cool to see them in the armor, but when you saw Hayden Christensen running, like. They didn't look right. And I'm just like, see, it goes to prove to you, like, some things just look better in animation. Cause like when you see Hayden Christensen in his Jedi robes, like, in the Siege of Mandalore, like, I'm like, all right, cool. Like he looks normal. Like he looks fine. But when I see him in that Clone Wars attire, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, gotta go. What'd you guys think? What'd you think, Jasmine, when you saw that?
Yeah, they do look a little clunky and silly, but I'm just happy that we get to see them, even though they look silly.
We get to see them.
Yeah, we get to see them versus, not even getting the chance to see that at all. So that's pretty fun to be able to see it, and just seeing Hayden and his Anakin, Clone Wars Anakin, and prequels Anakin. I teared up a little bit. I was like, this is amazing. Yes, I love Hayden. And people were just so mean to him for no reason for all those years. So to get to see him come back as a character that he did enjoy playing, just it felt good. It felt good.
Feels good. They felt like they were in a Comic-Con costume. That was a good one. I think that was the highlight of the night with that comment. Oh my god, that's
But
so
everything else made up for it.
It did.
And who cares?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. You're not wrong, Tyler. You're not wrong. I agree with you there.
I just hope this goes to show people like that, like watch Clone Wars and everything. Like, why don't they move like that in like live action? Why? It's like because you can't. Like,
Yeah.
like, come on, like come on. We've seen like clone troopers and stormtroopers like try and sit, fall, can't get up like a turtle. Like, most Star Wars costumes aren't realistic for anything aside from like looking cool.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I agree. That's why, like I said, some things are just better left in animation than live action. It's like even seeing the Purrgil, like they look cool and everything, but I just think I think they're animation characters. Like I just like it's like I wouldn't want to see. I'm gonna be real with you. Like if they ever were to show the Bendu, like that needs to stay. That needs to stay in animation, in my opinion. Like I do not like even the Mortis gods. Like I'm gonna be real with you. Like if they ever like show, like I would not want to see that. I think the only thing I'm cool with is that we've seen or whatever is like the Night Sisters. I'm cool with that. Like that to me is dope. But like all the rest of the stuff, I'm like, it's a little touchy for me. It's a little weird.
It's because they don't really they save all the really weird and trippy stuff in Star Wars for the animated series. That you don't really see anything really weird and just like that in live action. This is the first time. The World Between Worlds, say like the Force Tree, like everything is really confusing when you look at it in live action. But it just makes sense in like animation because it doesn't have to take everything so seriously.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I agree. I see Miss Tati that has the whole Ahsoka. Well, I just realized that you have the Ahsoka lightsaber too. Is that the one from Galaxy's Edge?
Which way?
Yeah. He's like, which one?
This is the no, this is the Hasbro Pulse FX.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
I like it. It's light enough. Yeah. It's light enough, and
you better hope that thing doesn't fall on you right now. They can't pop. Oh, no. My head.
No, it's on a little shelf.
Okay.
But anyways, no, yeah, it's good. I like the tech.
Okay.
It's one of my favorites. That's why it's up there.
Okay, not bad. Yeah, it looks cool.
I do have the one from Disney too, but I kind of like this one more.
I feel like everybody doesn't like the sabers from Disney.
Yeah,
they're all just like terrible.
They're all brighter than Disney's. They're all, better than Disney's. I don't know.
Darth Vader, unmute yourself, bro.
No, they're big and clunky. Like I just told you, like I sold all my Galaxy's Edge sabers. I'm just kind of over them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that one. Yeah, I remember you were telling me that you sold all yours. They do. I had the Kylo Ren one. I got rid of that one too. I was like, it's just too much, and it's like, honestly, I could use it more to like hit somebody with it than anything. Like, yeah, like it'll do more damage hitting somebody. Like it just doesn't feel real. It just feels like it's plastic. Literally, it's literally plastic.
Yeah.
Charles says the World Between Worlds was really well adapted in live action. In my opinion, it was very cinematic. I agree with you. I agree with you there. They did a really, really good job with the World Between Worlds in live action. What did you think, Jasmine? What did you think of the World Between Worlds, seeing it in live action?
It was really beautiful. I was kind of worried that it would look too CG or too cheesy because you know how sometimes they get lazy with the adaptions. But I thought it looked honestly beautiful. Like that's a place where I would take a book, a cup of tea, and I just go read there for hours. I would go hang out. Like it just looks so beautiful and so peaceful even.
Yeah, I agree. It does. It's something about it, and it's like seeing it now is like wow, because like I feel like Rebels really didn't do it justice the way we saw it in here. The only thing I wish we saw was like other portals the same way we saw it in Rebels, because we didn't really see other portals, and I was hoping that we did, or hear other voices.
Yeah,
Ezra heard that as well, and I was hoping that we heard some, and I was hoping that we saw Morai. That was what I was waiting for.
How come we haven't seen Morai yet? I meant to ask earlier. What do you guys think?
Oh, that's true, huh? Shouldn't she have been following Ahsoka around?
Right. Unless Ahsoka's already the sister.
No, well, no, because not necessarily. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but no, Morai, no matter what, is always gonna follow Ahsoka because, that's like her. How do I put it to you? That's like her lifeline, basically. Still, like that's wherever she goes, she makes sure that she is okay, and we've seen that even in the Mandalorian, where Mando comes in and you see Morai at the top of the tree. She's always lurking around, making sure that she is okay, and I think that's why potentially because I don't. I don't even think it was Anakin that necessarily saved her. It could have been Morai that opened up because remember, the daughter opens the portal, the brother closes the portal. So it could have just very well been that Anakin did have one training for Ahsoka. The daughter is Morai, opened the portal, and then you see Ahsoka getting her last training or her last lesson with Anakin in the World Between Worlds.
Right.
Yeah.
Since Anakin is now, as Darth Vader put it, the guardian of the World Between Worlds, he has mastered to potentially open or close the World Between Worlds. I would say more close because if Morai's alive, well, the essence of the daughter is in Morai. She's going to be the one that's going to be opening the portals. Anakin doesn't really need to be that one. Morai is always going to be there behind everything. So again,
I would still like to see,
Think about it. Morai was there when, well, the one that mattered the most. When she got her ass handed to her by Vader, who was there? Who was hovering over the portal? It was Morai. It was the daughter. You know what I'm saying? So, and she was the one, if had it not been for her, Ezra wouldn't have, put his 2 cents in and probably pulled her out.
Yeah.
So.
True.
That's what I think about that one. Developing Eternal. Imagine if instead of her spawning in the World Between Worlds, we see her walk in for a while and as she looks around, we see portals of Star Wars moments. And that's something that I was hoping that we did get, as Ezra did get to see different portals. And, he saw, obviously, Kane. They're going to show us the ones that matter at that moment in time to them is obviously of Kanan or whatever. And you heard Yoda, Kenobi, different ones. But I wanted it to be that as they were there training, you heard different voices. That's what I was really hoping for. Because I thought that would have added so much more clarity to, like, even if they were, like, going towards what's to come for the future, like hearing maybe like Kylo Ren, hearing Luke Skywalker, hearing Rey or whatever, or maybe like even Thrawn, like something that they can have in there that can give us some context as to what's to come. Because there's a lot of rumor. I don't know if you heard about this, guys, but there's a lot of rumor that they might be retconning the sequels. I don't think there's any truth to that, but I think there is a tiny bit, because if you think about it, like they're changing up a lot of things with what we're seeing. And if they do something like that, because again, Jason and Grogu have to fit into this. They're not going to just kill him off. I don't think they're going to kill him off. But again, what do you think, Darth Vader? What do you think?
No, like I told you before, they're not going to kill them off. Jason, they could do something, they could do something interesting with him, but Grogu's the future. Like, Yoda lived to be 900 years old. And this dude's like, barely 50. So he could go on hundreds of years after, like, the sequel trilogy, after Rey, after everything, and then they could start up, like, fresh again years later with him being, like, the catalyst or the root of everything. Because he is the only one who's going to have connection to the past. Hell, aside from Ahsoka, he's the only one who has a connection to the prequels right now.
Who? Oh, Yoda, yeah. I mean, Yoda, Grogu, you're talking about.
I mean, yeah, him and, well, technically, what's her name? Well, I mean, Hera, too. Hera was there, sort of. But,
Well, Hera was there. So she never met Anakin in them. She never,
she never, well, I mean, but, Grogu, like, was at the temple. Ahsoka was at the temple. Like, those are the last two, like, pillars of, the Jedi Temple, aside from, well, yeah.
Well, we don't know if Reva's alive.
Okay. Anyway.
Continue.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, Jason and Grogu are, like, the future of, like, the franchise after they're done doing whatever they're doing in, this space and the TV shows, because it seems like they're not really playing around in the after prequel, between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, aside from Andor.
Right.
So the next best thing they're gonna do, because we already know we already know what's gonna happen with all that. Like it leads up to everything we know. But right
Correct.
now it's like, yeah, we know where it leads, but there's even more of like a leeway. That's 30 years
Right.
minus versus 20.
Right.
You know, and they've already kind of just spent up 5 or 6 years right now, so you have 25 years to play around.
Yeah. I mean, I really believe something's got to happen with the sequel. Like they're gonna have to change something up because these two characters are now like again they're the heart and they're at the forefront right now, you know. And it's like, what are they gonna do? Just kind of like take them out? No, like they're gonna have to incorporate. They're gonna have to make it make sense. Like, what are they gonna do? Make them show up after the sequel trilogy into the new Rey movie? Like that would be dumb because then it would be like, well, where were they this whole time? You know.
Yeah, agreed.
I just think that's and that, you know, again, that's playing devil's advocate, right? Because again, there are a lot of content creators who are not really happy with a lot of the stuff that Disney is putting out, and I can understand. Again, like I love this stuff, but I could also understand where people are frustrated and upset because you know you want to understand how are you what is the logic in bringing characters if we already have the sequel trilogy? What are you gonna do? You can't tell a different story. Like, oh, they're not. Well, they have nothing to do with this, but they do. They're in the same galaxy. Like, it's the same thing. What are they doing? Chilling on Peridia with Night Sisters over there? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're in the unknown regions, just chilling. Jason and freaking Grogu. No, like that's not gonna make any sense. So it's like you have to make it where it falls into everything that's going on, and I don't think they can do that. I really don't.
Well, they already did that. You know, it already doesn't make sense. Like, think about this.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody knows where Grogu was since the prequels. Nobody knows where Ahsoka
was.
No, yeah, like you know, like there's so many questions. Nobody knows who Wang was. Like you know, the only people we know like what was happening with were you know Sabine and Hera and the basic Rebels crew. Everybody else, it's like okay, where were they during the original trilogy? Why weren't they helping? Like,
right.
Yeah, why weren't they helping Luke?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and that's my thing is like, you know, if you're gonna, and I think that's the problem with everybody's, you know, thing is like all these content creators that are so upset is like, it's great. You're telling like, fine, you're putting out all these characters that the fans want, but you're not explaining how do they fit into the sequel trilogy. And that's the thing is like, we want to know what happens in the future. Like we all want the answer, but it's like, we can't, because we have to do the slow burner route of seeing what transpires before all of that, before we get it. And it's like, I couldn't understand it. Like, I mean, you put timelines out and it's like, you're not making it make any sense. Like, that's what I'm saying is like, is Ahsoka alive? Like, is Ahsoka going to survive? Because like, we're not too far from the sequel trilogy. So it's like, what are you going to do? Because like, apparently she's dead in The Rise of Skywalker, apparently. But then you see the Ghost crew, you see the Ghost ship in The Rise of Skywalker.
I don't know. That they, you know, and they haven't really wrote any stories about about them at all, aside from, you know, the Hera and Kanan book that came out like a while back. So who knows? Like,
and that's the other problem. Yeah, that's the other problem, Darth Vader. I agree with you. It's like they haven't written any book. They write books from. They always focus on when Darth Vader was around, but they don't, you know, or whatever the case may be. They always focus on that, but they don't focus on we need content after. Like, I don't get it. Like, after the original trilogy was done, it's like they had so many books. So the EU had so many books explaining what happened after, or at least during the time. Like, but now it's like we have no idea. We have no idea the timeline of what's going on right now, you know, after this is all done. Like, because Thrawn has to die. Like, it happens in the books. He dies. So it's like, all right, now what happens to Ahsoka? Because we obviously know Thrawn is dead because, again, we have Snoke, we have Kylo Ren, we have Rey, Palpatine somehow survived. So you got to make it make sense. You got to make it make sense. I mean, it's true. It's funny, but it's true.
It's true. Know? He always survives. I'm like, what?
He's been in every freaking trilogy. This guy's the only, him, C-3PO, and freaking R2-D2.
They're like Thanos. They're the inevitable.
Even Yoda. Yoda's been in every trilogy too. Him too.
I don't know, man. I just think like they shot themselves in the foot with the books because it's like they wanted to go out and make, like you're saying, they just throw out a million Vader stories, but I'm like, make a story that has to connect with the movie, so it would make the movie, it would accentuate the movies. Don't just make off-brand stories because they make so many comic books and books in between A New Hope and Empire and Jedi. So now if they decide to ever make like a Rogue One type movie, they're pigeonholed because it's like they have to go by what the comics set up unless
Yeah.
they do away with everything because all those comic books connect, you know.
And that's what I kind of feel like they're doing with themselves. They're kind of like shooting themselves in the thing because if you think about it, like they're giving us all this content, fine, it's great, but like again, how does it all fit into the story? Like, are you guys recognizing like you have to explain that?
Yeah.
They just don't think ahead whenever they're working on the shows, the movies, the books. I think they can only see, you know, in like a few years ahead in universe, but they don't actually think about the bigger picture when it comes to their characters, because then they're like, oh, this character's back, oh, this character's new, this is how they fit in these few years in universe, but they don't think about just the bigger picture, which sucks because, you know, I've said on here to you guys before that there's so much that they could pull from the Legends books and comics. You know, they had everything mapped out, timeline, everything. But for some reason, when Disney took over, they didn't want to plan ahead. And now, like you guys said, they're stuck. They're stuck. We're wondering where the heck do these characters fit in? Where are they coming from? Where are they during these key points? They bring them out without actually thinking it through.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, could it be as simple as like this is just me playing devil's advocate, but what about different galaxies? Can they eventually, you know, oh, this is Rey and Kylo and all these characters are in a different galaxy and somehow this galaxy, and now this is not the same, it wouldn't be the same as time travel, but they would find a way like a not portal, but like a way to go through galaxies into another galaxy, and it would give them a clean slate.
I mean, personally, I think that's why they're kind of introducing like the unknown regions or whatever. They haven't even called it anything yet. I think they just called it Peridia. Like that's the planet. Like that's all I keep hearing. But I think that's probably why they're going to introduce this. That's why they're introducing it, because maybe this new galaxy can make sense of what happens to Jason and Grogu, I'm assuming.
Right.
I have no idea, but I'm gonna take a wild guess. Maybe that's what it has to deal with. So
okay.
So I'm guessing because if they're not a part of this, unless they're gonna kill them off, unless there's like unless that like it ends up being that like Grogu and what's his name and Jason go to Luke's academy and Kylo and the other two Jedi that he ran off with, and because if you read in the comics it was 3 of them. And then it ended up being that the Knights of Ren came, and then what's his name? Kylo Ren went with the Knights of Ren, and then they ended up killing the 2 kids in the comics. So that's what I'm thinking. What happens? So yeah, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that could make sense.
That's the only other way. Because again, if it's like if you have the Knights of Ren who are pretty strong and they're very much they're again like they have the arc now, which is no longer Crimson Dawn. It's called Crimson Reign, as you see there. They knew Vader. They came across all of that. They are very powerful. But Kylo ended up overthrowing Ren from the Knights of Ren. It could be that they, again, they did kill all of them, and maybe Jason and Grogu are a part of that. Again, Grogu, even though he was a part of, the Padawans, back in back from the prequels and stuff like that. He's not gonna remember all his training, right? He still has a lot to learn. He's not going to be as strong as a Kylo would be, or as strong as as you see the Knights of Ren are, or at least Ren from the Knights of Ren at that point in time would be, or even Jason would be strong at that point, depending how far along they are in their training and how, So there's a lot that goes into it for sure. There's a lot, but I think we'll call it a stream. And I want to thank everybody for hopping on. I want to thank, me and Darth Vader want to thank everybody. We want to thank, as we are your hosts, we want to thank Jasmine. Thank you so much, Verity Who on Instagram. We want to thank Tatiana with the Mickey. Thank you so much for hopping on. We really appreciate you guys hopping on and talking some Star Wars. Hopefully we get to have you guys. Maybe we can have you guys a little bit more, on the live streams and, do this as we do our watch parties.
Yeah, it is good.
So we'll talk behind the scenes and get into the the gritty stuff about it. So,
All right.
but I want to thank everybody. Like I said, again, please follow What the Mickey, Tatiana on Instagram. Follow Verity Who, Jasmine on Instagram as well. And you guys know what to do with Darth Hater 23 and myself. Follow us on Instagram and also subscribe to our channel as we are growing and growing only stronger within the Force. Thank you so much for hopping on, guys. Later. Horns up.
All right. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Later, guys.
Bye, guys.
Well, welcome to the show with the eternal self. Every visit banger, best believe he don't miss. Do me a favor, drop us up and keep tuning.